Hey everyone, it's Emma, just a girl who loves Elvis. I've heard it said many times, Elvis Presley was a racist, and every time I hear that, it hits me in the chest. Because I've studied this man, I've listened to him, I've read the stories from the people who knew him, and that label just doesn't fit. I'm not here to worship a celebrity or make excuses for anyone. I'm here because I believe in truth, and the truth about Elvis Presley has been twisted by rumours, half-truths, and things taken out of context. Elvis grew up poor in the deep south, surrounded by gospel, blues and soul. He didn't steal that music, he grew up inside it. He was raised around it, breathed it, loved it. And if you really look at his life, not just the headlines, but his heart, you can see that he wasn't a racist. He was someone who helped break down the very walls racism built. Elvis grew up in Tupelo, Mississippi. Dirt poor. He lived in what was actually basically a shotgun shack with his parents, right next to black families who were just as poor as he was. He went to their churches, stood outside their services, and listened to the gospel choirs shake the walls. Those sounds got deep into his soul, and when he got to Memphis as a teenager, he would sneak off to Beale Street, a place full of black musicians, energy, rhythm, and life. That's where he met people like B.B. King, Rufus Thomas, and other legends who were already shaping the sound of America. These men didn't see Elvis as a thief. They saw him as one of the only white guys who truly respected the music, who felt it. B.B. King once said, Elvis was a good person. He was full of respect. That's coming from someone who lived through the segregation, who knew what real racism looked like. There's this old rumour that Elvis said, the only thing black people can do is shine my shoes and buy records. I want to address that head on. This quote is 100% false. He never said it. No interview, no article, no recording, nothing. Back in 1957, Jet magazine, one of the most respected black publications of the time, investigated it. They looked everywhere, talked to people who knew him, and found zero evidence. Instead, they found black artists saying Elvis showed them love, respect, and friendship. But the rumour stuck. It was an easy story to believe in a divided America. And here's the thing, Elvis wasn't perfect. He was human. But calling him a racist, that's not who he was. When you look at the actual actions, when you look at Elvis's actual actions, they tell the real story. He surrounded himself with black musicians, choirs and producers. The Sweet Inspirations, a powerhouse black female gospel group, were his backing singers for years. They said Elvis treated them with love and respect, paid them fairly, and always included them. When he went on stage in Vegas, when the cameras were on, he didn't hide where his sound came from. He celebrated gospel and blues. On national TV, when that kind of cultural blending was still controversial. And it wasn't just about the music. Elvis gave to black charities quietly, never for attention. He admired Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and was deeply shaken when he was assassinated in Memphis. When people asked him about race, Elvis said, I never saw it that way. People are people. That's not something you say because it sounds good. That's something that comes from how you were raised, from the way you could see the world. I think sometimes people forget what kind of courage it took to do what Elvis did back then. In the 1950s, a white man performing music that sounded black was shocking. Some radio stations refused to play him. People said he was corrupting white youth. They didn't hate him because they thought he was racist. They hated him because he wasn't racist enough to stay in his lane. He broke cultural boundaries when doing that could have ended his career, or worse, and because of that, Elvis helped bridged two worlds that were kept apart for generations. He brought the sound of Black America to white audiences who would have never listened otherwise. And once they heard it, they couldn't unhear it. That changed everything. In the end, Elvis Presley wasn't a racist. He was a southern boy who grew up in poverty, who loved the sound of black gospel and blues because it made him feel alive. He was a man who respected the people who inspired him. And when he sang, it wasn't about colour, it was about soul. We can talk about how America failed many of its black artists, and that conversation is absolutely necessary, but blaming Elvis for racism erases the truth of who he really was, a bridge between two cultures, a man who opened doors he never closed. When you hear him sing If I Can Dream, you can feel it. There must be lights burning somewhere. That wasn't just a song, that was from his heart. So before anyone repeats that old rumour, I hope they take a moment to really see him, not only as a symbol, not as a controversy, but as a person, a man who believed that music had no colour, only feeling. Elvis wasn't a racist, he was proof that love and rhythm could cross any line. Thank you for watching, guys. Until next time, TCB TLC.